All right, so it's like 2 minutes. Let's look at this.
Remember in the classic movie when Harry met Sally and the character played by Billy Crystal insisted men and women can't be friends? Well, hugely popular syndicated radio and talk show host Steve Harvey agrees in a big way. In his latest book on relationships, Straight Talk, No Chaser, Harvey tells me face to face why women who think he's just a friend are delusional. This kind of frank talk is why expectations are high that Straight Talk will rival his first breakthrough bestseller. So where did this come from?
I mean, it's a blessing, true enough, but really, it was just me sitting down being honest. All of my friends are men. I don't have female friends. I don't. I'm incapable of that.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, because, you know, come on.
Because you have a wife.
Well, I have a wife, and I don't really have female friends because, look, okay, let's get rid of this myth right here. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. Let's get rid of this right here. You're an attractive woman. There's some guy somewhere saying, yeah, we're friends. No, that's not true. He's your friend only because you have made it absolutely clear that nothing else is happening except this friendship we have. We remain your friends in hopes that one day there'll be a crack in the door, a chink in the armor, and trust and believe that guy that you think is just your buddy, he will slide in that crack the moment he gets the opportunity.
Because
we're
most
guys.
men think this way?
99.9% of us think that way. And you tell this to a woman and it just blows her back. No, I have male friends. You have male friends because they know it can be nothing else right now. I tell you what, all your male friends, just ask them in a friendly way. If I wanted to date you, would you be okay with that? And watch the fireworks. Watch. I'm telling you. There's some guy somewhere saying, yeah, we're friends. No, that's not true. He's your friend only because you have made it absolutely clear that nothing else is happening except this friendship.
Men and women can be friends without any action. The problem is y'all be friends with people you have nothing in common with other than attraction. I've been seeing the trend. It's hurting my eyes. Your friendship is based off flirtation. Y'all some hoes in disguise.
I mean, that video, when I saw it, you know, really summarizes that of course you should be able to have these different kinds of relationships, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, with people. Just because you are, I hate it, because I know you saw the Jordan Peterson clips, right, in his comments about like women wearing makeup or women wearing makeup in the workplace, and that, oh, it's hypocritical for them to do that and then expect not to be sexually harassed. You know, this is the same argument that we hear from religious fundamentalists who, you know, say that women should be covered up because men cannot control themselves, and, you know, basically putting the burden of that on women. Or something that, I mean, something that was brought up in that, you know, in that little post, in that joke, that poem that dude did, was that if you're only hanging around somebody in the hopes of that, then yeah, it's going to be a problem. If there's no other, you know, things that are keeping y'all together in case the romantic pursuits aren't there, you know what I'm saying, then yeah, that it's going to be a negative response, because one party is going to grow resentful. One party is going to be like, damn, is the other one not picking up on the signs, or, you know, I need to change things. And the thing is, I do genuinely feel like, you know, some people do a disservice to themselves by not voicing, you know what I'm saying, I don't know. I mean, because people are funny, right? And sometimes when people know that you have certain things on your mind, it affects their behavior and how they go about. But I feel like people need to think about, you know, stuff not going their way. You know, it's often said that like, oh, why ruin a good friendship by dating or you know, even bringing that up. I think that other point of view is just as toxic as this one, as, you know, oh, we can't be around because, you know what I'm saying, because if I'm a straight man and you're a straight woman, or you're a beautiful woman, then I'm going to have to, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to have to, you know, be attracted. It's like, no, there's different levels of compatibility. You can look at somebody and be like, oh, they're attractive, or recognize that they have certain, characteristics that make you appreciate them, but only in the sense of being platonic around them. You know how you are with relationships, you know what your expectations are, what your compatibilities are, and they don't match. But when it comes to having somebody that you can work with, you can collaborate with, you can have an exchange of ideas, you can have a certain level of openness with, because there's not going to be any one relationship that fulfills every part of your life. You know what I'm saying? And because I was listening to this podcast, and it was a bunch of dudes, and these are dudes that by their own accounts, they've had to grow and develop and mature a lot in general, but also in the ways in which they treat women and their dating, romantic life, and everything. And so these are just dudes that are just operating at a lower level, and kind of express similar opinions that, like, oh, any friends that they had before we met and everything, they're cool to have, but no new friends after that. I'm your only male friend. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think about that shit is, beyond the fact that sounds like some real insecure shit and admittance of the dirt that you know yourself to do, and so you look at every other man as your worst side of yourself, is also the fact that when breakups happen, and usually the most of the time they're by the women, if we're talking about male female pairings, is that most of the time it's the woman. The woman usually comes out of it better because she's already gone through all her feelings and everything during the course before the relationship is over, before ending it, and having the network of, seeing those friends and those trustees that they kept in their life, maybe even to the against the desires of the boyfriend or whatever. Whereas a lot of men, they will cut everybody off. They will center their whole world around, the woman, and not pick up on signs, or not want to, change their behavior, take things for granted. And then when the relationship runs its course, they don't have that network to fall back on because they've alienated people. They didn't, they had a very narrow vision. And the thing is, I feel like, I kind of feel like this is one of those things where it contributes to the shorter lifespan of men, because, that emotional, mental distress, we try to, or walk it off, or try to be tough, or, just get along with it. It's like, no, we're human. We may, have different ways of expressing different things, different emotions, different thoughts, and need different outlets and whatnot, but it's got to get out. And so, so in a way, it's like I kind of pity, Steve Harvey and dudes who think like that, because they don't seem to understand how they're inhibiting their own growth and their own development. And at least the situations where you have a man whom is otherwise very successful and talented in his life, but he's on now, I think, his 6th or 7th marriage, and continues to try to give out advice on dating and romance. And clearly that is not a domain of his life that he has mastered. But to anybody else that happens to hear this, no, you can absolutely be in a relationship, or excuse me, everybody can be friends with anybody else, as long as it is not eating you up inside. If you have romantic feelings, and that repressing those feelings or never expressing them makes you sick, because if things are keeping you sick, then you have to let it out, and you have to see where things go from there. And whatnot. But otherwise, if it's not eating you up and keeping you up at night, and you just kind of think about it as a possibility, just, sometimes it's better to just fall back and just chill, and not, let that rock the boat. Find somebody who's more compatible, who has those features, but is also fulfilling that extra, that X factor or whatever. But yeah, definitely men and women can be and should be friends. And just like you should have plenty of friendships from within, your gender or your sexual orientation, as well as without.